back at it again, and I came across this video clip of who I think they want to be the next president of, the U.S. And I've talked about that in previous videos, how I feel like they're trying to kick Joe out and bring in Kamala, just to have someone. Well, it's for a number of reasons. Obviously, Joe has terrible approval ratings. Kamala does too, but she doesn't have that. She doesn't have that stain on her amongst the left that Joe does, right? Plus, she's black. Plus, she's a woman, so she's got 2 of the Infinity Stones. She recently said something that was pretty darn slick, which is what we're going to be talking about today. Like, share, comment, hit that subscribe button if you're new. Make sure you're following me on social media too. All of those links are down below, and let's dive in.
Some in the media apparently have a different take on this chaos. Here is how a guest on CNN categorized the situation.
There's a real blurring of the lines in the use of the word violence. You keep using these words, violent, 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 and it gives the impression, the only violence or the only acts of violence against people that I saw were actually police tackling protesters.
Independent women's forum.
It's stuff like that almost makes your blood boil, doesn't it? Like, what? Huh? You gotta be joking, right? Crazy part is he's not joking. He was serious. He called the riots that are happening in Atlanta peaceful. He said that they aren't violent. So what do you call setting a police car on fire? That's not violent? Shattering the glass of buildings, that's not. I'm confused. So he would be totally, you know what? I'm gonna leave it alone. I don't need to go in depth with that. Y'all know how foolish that is. That is just like. Let's move on.
Senior fellow Patrice ONeal joins us now. Patrice, that guest went on to say, is property destruction violence, question mark? To some people it is. What's your reaction on the whole to those comments?
So he would be fine if I went to his house and just start destroying stuff, because it's not violence, goodness gracious.
Oh, good morning, and thanks for having me. It's ridiculous.
Meantime, Patrice, Vice President Kamala Harris quoting the Declaration of Independence during her pro-abortion remarks yesterday. But listen closely. She conveniently leaves out one important word.
Listen.
America is a promise. It is a promise of freedom and liberty. A promise we made in the Declaration of Independence. That we are each endowed with the right to liberty and the pursuit of happiness.
What happened to life, Patrice?
Oh, it's a terrible.
Oh man, on one hand, I listen. I've talked about this 1,001 times. Democrats play the game. They play the game and they play it well. They play it well, and I'm going to keep harping on this until I see more Republicans start playing the game. Now, we do have some, Matt Gaetz and others, that have begun to play the game, and I love to see it. Love to see it. But you saw Kamala get up there, sound all proper and nice, and Declaration of Independence, it guarantees. You heard people shouting in the crowd and clapping. She conveniently left out one important word. And that was intentional. It was for sure intentional. And I think, looking back at all of this stuff, and, me thinking, man, these guys are complete idiots. No, they're not. I've been mistaken They aren't idiots at all. This is a part of the plan. They have a plan. And the proof is in the pudding. Whenever you see them in front of a mic, you always see them playing the game. You just saw the game. For those that don't know what playing the game means, you just saw what it means to play the political game. What I mean when I say it. She played the game. Conveniently left out one little word so it fit the narrative. Because if she would have thrown that word in there, then everything that they had been screaming about would have gone down the drain. And she knows the people that she's speaking to, these leftists, aren't going to take the time to go and look up what it is that she was actually saying. So the fact that she omitted that word just goes straight over their heads. They know that. Leftist politicians, they know this. They know Democratic, they know the constituents aren't going to go and look up this stuff. They know they aren't going to fact check. They know this. So they can get away with saying certain things. They can get away with playing the game and omitting life. One very important word, and nobody on the left will notice. They know that. Got to get better at playing the game, man. I'm telling you. We have to.
To life, Patrice.
Oh, it's a terrible omission on her part. That was not a moment of forgetfulness. Let's be clear here. There is no right to pursuit of happiness or freedom without the inalienable God-given right to life. That's the bottom line. Unfortunately, the left, including Vice President Harris, cannot give on the word life because it undercuts their entire argument around abortion. And it supports the idea that, yes, there is a pro-life. And I'm speaking as an individual. I'm speaking.
Another crazy thing is these leftist voters don't realize how much they're being played. They have no clue. We all see it. We all see it. Democrats had the opportunity to make sure that their abortion rights were secure. They had the opportunity to. They chose not to. They chose to instead go out in the streets in front of cameras and point the finger at Republicans and say, hey, those guys, they're the bad guys. While they conveniently left out, hey, we could actually solve this issue for you guys. We could get it done. But instead, they play the game. They play the game. They know their voters don't know that. They know their voters aren't going to fact check them once again. Isn't that crazy? Like, I just sit here and I watch certain stuff happen and I'm like, how do they not see what is happening to them? How do they not see that these politicians are playing them like a puppet? They're just pulling strings. They could have solved the abortion issue. They could have done that. They chose not to because they knew it was going to make their voters angry. Goodness gracious. Man.
As a mom who's delivered 2 baby boys through this body, I recognize, and women across the country recognize this, but what the vice president did yesterday, she gave a stump speech for 2024, and she's trying to keep up the momentum among female voters about abortion and abortion changes in this country, because that is the only issue they think that they can win on.
Yeah, it's just so strange that whoever wrote this speech, if she didn't pick these remarks herself, would even choose that quote and then take the word life out of one of the most notable and important quotes that this country has. Everybody knows life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. And she made these comments to commemorate.
I don't know this young lady's name, but she said everybody knows. Not everybody. Not people on the left. They have no clue.
What would have been the 50th anniversary of the Roe versus Wade decision. So it almost seems like an admission. It seems like she just made a pro-life argument, and she didn't even mean to. Patrice, got to leave it there. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks
we appreciate
so much,
it.
Thank you.
I'm Steve Doocy.
Man, oh man, just conveniently leaving that out of the equation. And boy, oh boy. I mean, and I don't even know in terms of like the masses of leftists. I don't know how to convey that message to them. Because I think if we were able to connect with the masses of the left, right? Of course, there's people like me. Because I used to agree with the Democratic talks, you know. Well, I guess I wouldn't say agree. I guess I used to consider myself a Democrat. I'll say that. Because I never was really into politics, all right? So I won't even say agree, because it's not like I paid attention to whatever it was that they were saying. And I feel like there's a lot of folks that are like me who just need that moment of clarity. That just need something broken down to them to the point where it's just like, oh, wait, no, wait. No, actually, I can't explain that away. You're right. You know, they just need that moment. And I had that moment where I was just being hit with these facts, and I was just like, wait, I'm a Democrat, though. I'm a Democrat. There's got to be some type of excuse for this. Actually, you're right. Holy, what? Wait a minute. And you were right about that too. Hold on, I'm going to have to like think through this, because I think I've been wrong this whole time. You know, I think there's a lot of people who would have that moment that are just like me, that are a lot easier to connect with, right? But then there's a group of individuals who, there's a huge crowd of the left that are going to be a lot more difficult. But I think if we could just convey that message, like, they're lying to you. Here's an example. They're playing you like a fiddle. Here's an example. They could have fixed this thing here. Here's an example. This is why they did it. I can prove it. Okay? And they chose to instead continually make you angry instead of actually doing what you felt would have been the right thing to do. They're just playing you. I don't know. What do y'all think? We got to figure out a way to convey that message, because I think if we were able to figure that out, and obviously it's going to have to be, you know, said in a bit of a different way. It's got to be said, you know, calmly and basically, you know, in the form of more so questions instead of statements. I feel like those are a couple of the strategies to use, and it's not even to what's the word I'm looking for? Confuse anyone, but it's just the way that things have to be said, because we've watched street interviews time and time again, and you know, if you make a statement to some of these leftists that, you know, are a bit farther than what I was, they shut down, they run away. You know, that's why I came up with the catchphrase, when the facts come out, they run, because that's what we were seeing time and time again, and it proved true. When the facts come out, they run. So you have to say things in the form of a question instead of a statement, because then they're questioning it instead of like trying to get angry at you because you made a definitive statement. But like I said, I feel like if we could crack that formula, we'd be on the road to recovery, well on the road to recovery, because we could convert a lot of people if we were able to do that. But what do y'all think? Let me know in the comment section below. Like, share, comment, hit that subscribe button before you go. Peace and love. I'm out.